Yeah, so we've waited a few minutes to let additional people trickle in. I wanted to thank you on behalf of Team Green Force for joining us and listening to the opportunity that we have to share with you. Here at Green Force, we provide what's called a solar site survey, and what that is it's really an abbreviated type of home inspection where you kind of you identify and document the condition of a roof. You evaluate and document the attic space and the trusses that are supporting the roof structure, as well as documenting the components in the electrical system for a home. That information is then submitted through our application, and it creates what's called a site survey report. And that report is used by engineers, solar engineers, and solar contractors to design an optimized system for that unique home. So what Green Force is doing is taking that burden away from solar engineering firms and sales companies for having the need for solar site surveyors, paying salaries when times are slow, the liability associated with having cars on the road, and it kind of decouples that responsibility for solar engineers and solar contractors. In the past, I've worked as a solar survey and an operations manager for a solar engineering firm, overseeing six, seven, or eight surveyors, and it requires a lot of logistics, lots of phone calls, lots of coordination, training, and so we've kind of taken that burden and removed it from solar engineering firms essentially, and kind of taken that on to change the market such that people are able to work independently, and also, solar engineers and contractors are able to focus on what they do best, whether that's installing solar or designing solar systems. So with that, I have a video to share with you all. It's just a couple minutes long. It'll really give an overview of what Team Green Force is and has to offer. After that video, we'll stop briefly to see if you have any questions. I have a slideshow that will kind of go to the next level of the relationship with Green Force if you're working as a solar site surveyor. And then we'll take a look and get a quick glimpse at the training that's going to be made available once you've been onboarded with the team. So with that, before I get started, do you have any questions?
No, this is a very exciting opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you
glad
very
to have you
much.
here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll go ahead and take a look at this quick video. Let's go ahead and share this. All right. And just let me know. I'm just going to play the first second here. Let me know that you're able to hear the audio. Okay. Were you able to hear some? You can hear it. Wonderful. All right.
Yes,
We'll get right in. We'll get
yes.
right into it.
Hello there. Introducing the Green Force application, your site survey partner. Let's get started with Green Force. Meet John, a dedicated solar installer who is struggling to find a reliable solar site surveyor to kickstart his solar projects. A friend of John's suggested that he tries Green Force, the ultimate solution for John's solar site surveying need. He installs the Green Force application in his smartphone, follows the simple registration steps, and begins his journey. Discover Green Force's seamless process. Our Green Force app instantly connects you with nearby surveyors, allowing real-time tracking and effortless scheduling. Your survey request is accepted by a nearby solar site surveyor, specifically booked for you. With Green Force, you can seamlessly book a solar site surveyor with a specific time, date, and location. As the survey time approaches, John can now track the surveyor's exact location through the Green Force application. A stress-free waiting game. True to its promise, the Green Force surveyor arrives right on schedule, ready to assess the site and gather essential measurements. With Green Force, no site is too big or small. The site surveyor skillfully measures every roof facet and obstruction, ensuring precision and accuracy. Green Force's diligent team verifies and quality checks the survey report, ensuring top-notch standards before delivering it back to John. Do you know what is the best part? The one who booked the survey pays only for the survey time that he booked for no hidden costs or surprises. Greenforce makes quality affordable. Behind every success is a dedicated team. Meet our internal experts committed to delivering excellence. Need assistance? Our 24/7 customer support is just a call or click away. We're here to guide you every step of the way. Stay tuned for the exciting launch of Greenforce. Get your ticket to hassle-free solar projects. To learn more, visit our website, www.greenforce.co.
All right, I know there was a lot of information packed in there, and we are going to take a look at a couple of slides to kind of further explain the relationship and what it is you'll be doing as a solar site surveyor. But before we move on, do you have any questions I might be able to answer?
I don't.
All right, so yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look here. But just from that video, you may kind of see some of the parallels with the service that we're providing to Uber, and that is you'll get notifications for requests for site surveys in your area, which you'll then be able to determine. This time is wonderful. I have this day free. I'm looking to make as much money as I can. Alternatively, it might be your niece's birthday, and you have other things more important to do. But we'll take a look at these slides here, and I think you'll get a better feel and a deeper insight to what Team Greenforce has to offer. So, again, we're introducing our application. Our grand release of the application is the middle of next week. There's a conference in San Diego called Intersolar, where we will be releasing our application to the public. You guys are welcome to join on, and you're encouraged to join on as soon as possible to complete the training, which we'll discuss here in a moment. And again, the kind of goal and the beauty of Greenforce to the solar industry is just kind of removing that responsibility from solar contractors and solar engineering firms to collect that data for homes and conveying that information in a clear and concise way using our application. So as I mentioned, it's a little bit similar to Uber in the style of notifications that you'll be getting and how you get connected with your site surveys. Generally speaking, the process for getting a site survey scheduled for yourself would be, a homeowner knocks on your door, tells you how wonderful solar is and the benefits of having a solar system on your home for energy independence, having backup battery storage and so on. The next step after having a homeowner or a client agree to having solar installed on their home is collecting the information on the home. And that's where Greenforce comes in. So salespeople and solar contractors that are making sales will have the application in their hand, and they'll very quickly enter important information like the homeowner's name, the address, the requested date, the requested time, the homeowner's phone number, which will then be sent to all of the surveyors in a 100-mile radius of that address. And at that point, it just kind of comes to a first come, first served basis as to who's going to be there to complete that site survey. So again, you get notifications for surveys up to 100 miles away of the home that needs to be inspected. You do have guaranteed earnings with Greenforce, and we'll talk a little bit more on compensation in the next few slides. But there's a guaranteed minimum of $80 per site survey, and that would be if a site survey was within a 45-mile radius of your home, and the site survey took an hour or less. In my experience, a normal site survey, maybe 1,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet or so, is probably going to take about an hour and a half or so. And for a site survey of that size, you're probably looking closer to about $150. The video alluded to site surveys payment being predicated on how long it takes to perform a site survey. So what that means is for a bigger home that may have, two sub panels instead of one sub panel, they might have a transfer switch or some other more unique electrical equipment for their home, or multiple style roofs that need documentation. You would be compensated for your additional time on that site survey, but you are guaranteed a minimum of $80 per site survey. Uh, Again, you will receive these notifications, and for which you will have the sole responsibility and decision-making power on which site surveys you'd like to accept. You're able to accept a site survey every 2 hours. So, I had mentioned the hour and a half is in my experience about how long a site survey takes. So you'd be able to accept probably 4 or 5 site surveys in a day. And if you compare that to the minimum that we described with the $80, that multiplier can build up quite quickly. Multiple earning opportunities. There are additional bits of compensation that you'll be receiving. If a home is getting a backup battery, there's an additional $45 that you'll be receiving. And then there's additional compensation for driving distances. So if you're driving between 45 and 65 miles, and this is in one direction, you'll receive an extra $35. If you're driving between 65 and 90 miles, you receive an extra 45, and between 90 and 100 miles, an extra $55. And so that's there to cover your time on the road, the gas that you're consuming, the wear and tear on your vehicle, and really get out there to motivate people to drive that extra mile to perform these site surveys in a fair way that they're compensated for their time and energy to get there. And then I have a few more slides, but I'll stop for a break after this one. You'll have an in-app wallet after a site survey is completed. It's reviewed by our back-end team and the solar contractor that requested the site survey. Once it's been approved, the balance for the time it took you on the site survey, as well as the adders for the driving or the backup batteries, that amount will get deposited into your in-app wallet and will be automatically deposited into your bank on a weekly basis. So I know that was a lot, and I do have a few more slides, but those were a lot about compensation. So I just wanted to stop to see if you may have any questions.
I have a question. Do we need a ladder?
Yep. And we'll take a look at some of the tools here in a moment. We do offer training, and in that training, it does discuss the tools required, and ladders are required. You are not required to walk on any roofs. Oh, sorry. Greg, let's see. Sorry, Greg, your audio just started coming through. But ladders are required. You're not expected to get onto any roofs. You're not expected to go into attics, but you are expected to be able to get far enough into an attic that you're able to get measurements on trusses, a pitch measurement, truss spacing, and those types of things.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So as I mentioned or alluded to before, there's sorry, Greg. Sorry. So as I mentioned before, we do offer free comprehensive training. The training takes about 2 hours. It may be, 100 pages or so of PDF text with supplemented with maybe 15 or 20 training videos, of which are going to be available to you while you're on site performing site surveys. The videos make it extremely easy and kind of fail proof, so that if you're on a site survey and you get to a certain type of equipment that you haven't seen in a while, maybe a transfer switch, you'll have access to the video on the documentation and the steps that are needed for that piece of equipment. So in that way, if you forget about, I don't remember what measurements are needed for this type of roof, that information will be available to you in the application. This training was designed by a team of home inspectors and solar engineers, and it really covers from everything from the ground up, starting with things like the fundamentals of electricity, the major components in a solar system, different roof types and geometry you may encounter, and the documentation steps for each type of roof that's encountered, uh, to safety, tools of the trade, and so on. So it's really been carefully constructed so that coming in as a surveyor as an entry level is doable through our training, and you can do so confidently. Um, this is my last slide for you, and we will take a look at a couple of our training videos and training material just to give you an idea of the next steps to come. But this is actually one of my favorite features about Team Green Force is our performance-based reward system. As we mentioned on the first slide, on you'll get notifications for surveys within a 100-mile radius. Um, uh, this performance-based reward system will give priority to surveyors that are doing an excellent job. And what I mean by that is, getting to site surveys on time or early, being professional when you're on a site, having high quality site survey reports, and and the way we track that is we do have some back end data in terms of timing for the site surveys. Our the people that have requested the site surveys will have an opportunity to give a ranking system, 1 star because he was late and didn't seem ready, or 5 stars because he was wonderful, he made the homeowners laugh, or whatever it may be. And so based on some of those criteria, you'll get a grade essentially, in our company. And if you are excelling it and have a wonderful grade, you'll have a priority. You'll get notifications 15 minutes before everybody else. And so that encourages our surveyors to obviously be motivated so they have that opportunity to have that increased income, as well as giving our contractors and sales companies an opportunity to have our best surveyors perform additional surveys. Again, I think every healthy company has some degree of competition, and this is really what this is fostering is that little bit of motivation to benefit our surveyors to do better and increase their earning potential. So those are all my slides. Do you have any question regarding the training? And we will take a look at a couple of the training modules, as well as a couple of the videos, so you'll know exactly what to expect. But before we move forward, do you have any questions I might be able to answer? And so I'll just go ahead. I do have a couple of videos I can show you. So this is one of the videos I've kind of alluded to, that you'll have access to in the application. For Greg, I know you're a home inspector, and I think a lot of this information will translate very easily for you. I also think I would suspect that you probably have all of the necessary tools to begin working as a solar site surveyor. But there are some kind of nuances and differences in the what you're really looking for, in terms of a site survey compared to a home inspection. I myself am a home inspector, have been for 3 years here in Florida. And for me, I really enjoyed solar site surveying. For one, the skills and experience transfer very easily. But I was also able to budget many more surveys in a day. And just having those short kind of customer interactions was always satisfying for me. But I digress. Let's take a look at one of these training videos. Hi, my name's David with Team Green Force, and in this video we'll be opening a main distribution panel.
We'll guide you through a thorough process of assessing your electrical system's heart. Safety is our priority. Let's begin. We start with photos of the available wall space around the MDP. Clear space is essential to ensure safe access and maintenance. Next, engage your senses. Listen for any arcing sounds and smell of burnt plastic, which may indicate a hazardous condition. Safety first. Use the back of your hand to gently touch the enclosure to determine if it's energized. This precaution helps prevent unintended shocks. Now let's take a step back. A photo from approximately 6 feet away provides an overall view of your MDP. Next, inspect the MDP enclosure with the hinge door opened. Zoom in on the breakers within the MDP. Ensure they are in good condition and properly labeled. Photograph the main breaker in the MDP. Its proper function is essential for your electrical system's safety. Now let's capture an image of the entire label on the MDP. This label provides critical information about your electrical system. Continue by taking a photo of the busbar label on the MDP. These details are essential for a complete assessment. As we proceed, our next step is to safely remove the screws securing the MDP's dead front cover. Before we dive into this task, let me share some essential tips. Make sure you've taken all the necessary safety precautions, such as wearing appropriate protective gear. Now, by gently removing the screws, we gain access to the vital components within, revealing essential insights about your electrical system. As we delve deeper into our inspection, it's crucial to meticulously document every facet of the MDP's interior. We focus our attention on capturing images of the top, bottom, left, and right sections within the MDP. Each photograph serves as a piece in the puzzle, shedding light on the overall condition of the panel and the components it houses. As we continue our detailed examination of your MDP, our next focus is to capture an image of the label affixed to the main breaker in the panel. This label holds critical information about its function, serving as a valuable resource for understanding the heart of your electrical system. Inspect the material of the line-side conductors of the MDP. Document their condition and material. Now let's focus on photographing the breakers on the left side of the panel and the wires entering them. Now, photograph the breakers on the right side of the panel and the wires entering their respective breakers. Our visual journey isn't complete without a close look at the breakers on the right side of the panel and the wires they're connected. This detailed inspection unveils the intricate wiring of your electrical system, shedding light on its reliability. Capture an image of the wire gauge label of the line-side conductors. This information is crucial. Examine the material of the load-side conductors of the MDP. Document their condition and material. Now let's pay meticulous attention to the wire gauge size of the line-side conductors, ensuring accuracy in our assessment. Finally, photograph the ground bar in the MDP. A safe grounding system is essential for your electrical setup. There you have it, our comprehensive guide to inspecting your main distribution panel. Remember, safety comes first in all steps. Stay vigilant and informed about your electrical system.
Yeah, so I hope that didn't seem too overwhelming. All of the information that's collected there is again used to design solar systems, identify code violations, determine the best point of interconnecting a residential solar system to their existing electrical system in their home. And each one of those photos plays a unique role in the design process. And what you'll find through the training is that just about every type of panel, whether it's a main distribution panel, a meter main combo, a sub panel, a transfer switch, they all essentially have the same steps. So, hopefully that sequence of videos didn't seem overwhelming. And if it did, that information will be available to you in the video format that you just saw, as well as a sequential list of the images required during a site survey process. But what I think you'll find is after performing 3 or 4 site surveys, just like Greg on once you started home inspecting, once you have your routine down, it really becomes second nature. So I just wanted to share that with you. We have about 15 of these style videos, which covers the different types of panels you're encountering, different types of roofs and the steps required for those roofs, as well as other bits of information that we collect. And we'll just take a peek at one of these modules. So these are the videos that you'll have access to during your site survey process. And this is one of the training modules that will be made available to you before performing site surveys. So here, this is kind of our bread and butter. It's the data collection portion of the application. As I mentioned, all of the other kind of modules that are available is just to kind of give you that background on solar and home systems and roof systems and electrical systems so that you have that intuition when you arrive on a site survey. So some of the things it discusses is, what are you going to do before you get to a site survey? These are some steps that I would take. Look up the home's age, and it'll give you some ideas on the value of it. So, for instance, knowing the home's age will give you an idea on what building materials and building practices that were used during the home's construction. It additionally gives you you can find it on your property appraiser website or on a real estate listing website, and it goes through a couple of different things that you might look at in terms of the home size, the structure, what type of roof geometry does it have. And this will kind of manage your expectations on this is going to be a longer site survey or shorter site survey. It gives some ideas on how to efficiently and effectively take photos. It goes on to, let's see, it goes on to the customer interaction, things to say to the customer, things not to say to the customer, and then into the photos that are required. So, for instance, this section is on the home's exterior. So the first photo is a photo of the front of the home, including neighboring homes, and it gives a brief description of the value of this image. So not only will you know what photos to take, but the value and the reason you're taking those photos. And again, that's just to build intuition while you're on a site survey. So photo of the front of the home, including the neighboring homes. This image confirms the right home was documented, and then by including the neighboring homes, it shows if there may be any shading caused by nearby structures. So this is just a little one story with a gable roof, but you could imagine a two-story building over here. This just happens to be on the west, which could contribute to there being shading on the slope of the roof, which should produce the most electricity. And it goes on through this module describing the different steps for the different types of roof coverings you may encounter. And again, this will all be available to you during your site survey. So if you say, I haven't seen a standing seam metal roof in a few weeks, I don't exactly remember these steps. This information will all be present. Excuse me, Richard, you had asked about the tools, and we can just kind of briefly take a look at that. If you just give me
Okay.
one moment. And we'll just kind of breeze through this. We'll take as much time as we need. So you asked about ladders. Ladders are absolutely necessary. As I mentioned, we do need to get photos of a roof. You're not required to walk on a roof, but in addition to maybe getting to the eaves of a roof for photos, you'll also need to be able to, poke your head into attics. There's no expectation to walk from one end of an attic to the other end of an attic. It's more so just evaluating the trusses in an attic, the available space in an attic for people that might be working in there. Are they going to run conduit on the top of the roof? Are they going to run conduit through an attic? And so there is a requirement to have ladders. You have the freedom to choose the ladder that you'd like. An extension ladder is generally more expensive. It'll allow you to get up onto a second story roof, where generally speaking, an A-frame style roof ladder would not. Telescoping ladders are also very valuable. I had one home inspector that this was his absolute favorite type of ladder. I personally prefer articulating ladders, which can kind of go between an A-frame, like you can see here, or an extension ladder, and sometimes they can adjust into different shapes as well. A non-conductive caliper we saw in the one video, and as you can see in this photo here, getting measurements of diameters of conductors is important, and is a really important consideration when it comes to adding another power source, as certain materials and gauge wires have a maximum amperage that they can happily accept. And you'll also be taking some measurements of certain roof coverings. Screwdriver, of course, we'll be getting into electrical panels. I prefer these integrated screwdrivers with multiple tips. They also have insulated screwdrivers, which offer that extra level of protection when you're entering into energized electrical panels. Pitch finding tool, you can find these for just a couple of dollars on Amazon. These, as the name describes, measures the pitch of roofs, and this plays into load calculations. And by load, I mean the weight of solar panels on a roof, as well as wind loads, which is a really important consideration down here in Florida, where we have major hurricanes that roll through every year or two. A razor knife. This is just a good thing to have on you at all times. I carry one even when I'm going to the grocery store. But you may encounter some electrical panels that are painted over, and kind of make a seal between the wall and the electrical dead front cover. And this will allow you to kind of score that paint away, so you're not peeling wall paint away and upsetting homeowners. Flashlight, pretty straightforward. You'll be taking photos in attics. You may need to get some better lighting in a dark garage to get good clear photos of electrical panels. I opt for a flashlight holster. It keeps you hands free. The one that I had in particular had a couple of adjustable kind of notches, so I could set it to 45 degrees and it could kind of be pointing at a ceiling while I was hands free. It could be pointing at 90 degrees, so it's kind of straight in front of you. If it's dark in an attic and you just want to see what's in front of you, this is optional. Uh, what is it? Tape measure. You'll be measuring, trusses. You'll be measuring. You'll be getting a scale measurement, oftentimes of a driveway. And what that does is they'll be able to take aerial measurements, aerial images, and scale the size of a roof that way as a backup measure, or as a backup means. And then also a wheel measuring tool for ground mount systems. So you could imagine this isn't as common in Southeast Florida where I'm from, although I've done a number of them. But just measuring out a backyard, identifying where things that are underground, maybe a septic tank, maybe sprinkler heads or other kinds of things that would obstruct a ground-mounted solar system being installed, allowing engineers to make sure that there's appropriate setbacks for solar systems. Just general safety non-slip footwear, natural fibered clothing to protect you from any types of arc flashes, rubber tip gloves to insulate you from potentially energized electrical panels, a tool pouch to hold everything together, a selfie stick. In some instances, you'll be doing surveys that have existing solar on them, and we'll need information about the PV modules or solar panels, data plates, or DC optimizers, which you'll learn more about in the training that we have. Either I used a pen and a carpentry pencil. You will oftentimes run into wires packed into an electrical panel, as you can see here on the right, and it may be covering a bus bar label. So you'll have a non-conductive probe and just be able to move those wires away to get a clear photo of a bus bar label. Magnets. This is to determine if a roof covering is either aluminum or steel based. Again, a carpentry pencil for marking maybe a driveway that's larger than 25 feet for your scale measurement, or again, as a non-conductive probe to get into electrical panels. And then finally, drones. You're not required to have a drone. They are preferred. To me, it makes for a better site survey report by providing real-time images of a roof. It's one thing to get a low-flying aircraft that flew by maybe a year ago. The condition of the roof very likely may have changed over that time. It keeps you from having to climb up on ladders and getting photos from the eaves of a roof. So not only does it make it safer, it makes it quicker, and it makes for a better quality survey. But again, that's not absolutely required. That's just kind of a look into the tools that are required. For Greg, I would suspect that you have most of these items, and Richard, I know you had some questions about the tools. Is there anything else I could answer regarding the tools?
No, that was very thorough.
Okay, wonderful. And so again, we do have this training available. It's available through our application. So when you choose to move forward with Green Force, we will send a follow-up email with kind of the next steps and the kind of documentation that's required. Uh, you'll get access to the application to kind of continue that onboarding process. And once that's all done, you'll have access to the training. There is a 10-question comprehensive training test, but it should be very straightforward if you've gone through the training. Richard or Greg, do you have any questions I might be able to answer?
I don't, but thank you.
Yeah. What do you think, Greg? Does this seem like something that could be a good addition to your home inspecting revenue
Oh,
stream?
absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have any questions I might be able to answer? Did you say no already?
I don't really have any specific questions other than I would need to learn how to use your app that I'm sure will come with the training. Um, just where do we go from here?
So we'll follow up with you in the next day or so with an email that kind of outlines the next kind of documentation steps. At that point, you'll be able to download the application. Right now, it's only on the Google Play Store. So if you have an Android, or excuse me, if you have an Apple phone, it will be released and available on the App Store in about a week, I would say. At that point, you can continue with the training. If you're eager to get onboarded, I can send you these PDFs as you see them here. And if you're eager just to get the ball rolling and not have any holdups, once we go live in about a week, we'd be happy to provide you with the training material. And from there, if you have any questions, just respond to the email you'll be receiving in a week, and we'll get you onboarded.
Sounds good.
Great. And Richard, is there anything else I might be able to answer for you?
No, it's I got a lot of experience. I wouldn't say a lot, but I mean I got enough experience to I think I'll be very good at this. Seems like a great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to moving forward.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, well, again, thank you for your time and joining us. I hope this presentation was clear and what we have to offer for you guys. We'll be following up with you in the next day or two with kind of the next steps for the onboarding process. And if you have any questions, you just respond to that email, and we'll get right back to you with those answers. And we look forward to getting you guys onboarded with the for our grand release here in a week.
You're a great presenter. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah, certainly. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. We'll be following up with the emails here shortly, and if there's anything you need, feel free to reach out. We'd like this to be as streamlined and as easy as a process for you as possible. If you do have any feedback on the process, you just let us know. We're always looking to refine our process and make it as ergonomic and friendly as possible.
You got it. Have a good day.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one. All right, bye.